Ticats in this game. Their owner, Harold Ballard, told them, if you win, I'll take you out on the town. But the 80-year-old owner also said, you'll have to take me with you. I don't know if they will. He might drive them right through the whole night and be the last one to give up.
Holloway wants to throw. Does to Paul Pearson, and Pearson makes the catch for a gain of 6. Leroy Paul, the cornerback on that side, just made sure that he didn't get up and run.
Well, the key tonight for the Hamilton Ticat defense, they have to put pressure on Conrad Holloway. That time they didn't get even close to him, and Holloway had all day to find his third and fourth receiver. That time he hooked up with Paul Pearson, late coming across the middle, but on that replay pointed out also Cedric Minter coming open.
It is 2nd and 4. Toronto the ball at their 51. The screen is set up for Bob Bronk. He's got the first down. He's into Hamilton territory at the 38-yard line. Gerald Best, number 14, finally makes the tackle. But a 21-yard gain on the screen pass to the big guy from Queen's University, Bob Bronk.
Well, one of Pat Marston's favorite newcomers in the league this year, Bob Bronk, took a screen pass. Tell you, he didn't even wait for his lineman to set it up for him. He was so open. That's what happens when Hamilton got caught in that man-to-man coverage. The defensive backs were deep downfield and couldn't react in time.
First down, Toronto, the ball at the Hamilton 38-yard line. The draw to Bronk. And he's wrapped up early by Carm Cartieri, but he still manages about 3 yards. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
He made the tackle.
Well, you got a chance to see Conrad Holloway there. What an outstanding first half of the season he's had.
Here's the ball.
Offside, Hamilton, number 31. First down repeated.
Ben Zambiazzi was offside, so the Argos accept the 5-yard penalty, and it will be 1st and 5, Toronto. The ball at the Hamilton 33. The defensive line has a new name in there for the Hamilton Ticats, Will Simons, number 60. Simons from Tulane University. Terry Greer makes the catch and has the touchdown. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Offside, Hamilton.
Number 75, Jeff Blanchard, the outside linebacker, jumped offside. That touchdown will count. And we talked at the beginning of the show, Pat, of what a big play man Terry Greer has been for the Toronto Argonaut offense since he's come back into the lineup. And no bigger play to get them off to a good start here in the first quarter. Conrad Holloway laid that ball in perfectly. Terry Greer getting in behind Leroy Paul. One of the things Holloway told me this week, he said, we feel we can work on Leroy Paul with Terry Greer. He's bigger than he is. He can go up and get the ball, and what an example of that. He just showed us right there.
6th touchdown of the year for Terry Greer. The point after by Andrew Sisson is good. And the Argos, on their first possession of the ball game, go for the touchdown, and they lead the Hamilton Ticats 7-0. We'll be back in just a moment. From Texas Southern University, the 4-year pro Terry Greer gets his 6th touchdown reception of the year and gives the Toronto Argonauts an early 7-0 lead.
Well, once again, another look at a really good play by Terry Greer. He went up and took the ball away. What an outstanding throw by Conrad Holloway. Couldn't have put it in a better spot. And as Pat mentioned, his 34th catch of the year and 6th touchdown. Great start for the Argonauts.
The kickoff goes out of bounds, and the Argos will have to do it over again.
Now we see Zenon Andrusishin there on the screen, and he's been under a little criticism here by the Toronto media as of late. And they have Dean Dorsey, a kicker, in on a 14-day trial who was just released by the Cincinnati Bengals, and you have to wonder if maybe the Big Z's feeling a little pressure tonight.
Well, he's been through this before, of course. He's the veteran of this Toronto ball club, having been with the Argos for 11 seasons. As Howard Fields, number 16, and Rufus Crawford, 21, now move up a few yards. And Andrew Sisson will perform the kickoff from his own 40. Fields takes this one at his 9-yard line. And gets out to about the 34, which is where the Ticats will put it into play. Down quickly was number 36 for the Argos, Don Moan, whom they picked up from the BC Lions just prior to the start of the '82 campaign. So let's see now if that Hamilton offense can move the ball a little bit. They're going to have to, because the Argos look particularly sharp. You look at the Toronto linebacking and defensive back brigade. Nobody has played better than Zach Henderson, number 31, who really is the heart and soul of that secondary for Toronto. Clements fakes the draw, sets up the screen to Braggignolo. Braggignolo has a first down as he crosses the 45-yard line. Jeff Gabrielson, number 72, and John Pointer, 37, are there to bring him down. But it's Hamilton's first down of this ball game.
Good execution by the Ticat offense. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen one way to Rufus Crawford, and Tommy Clements just turned and set up the screen to Mark Braggignolo. Good blocking out in front of him, and they, as Pat mentioned, pick up their first down of the ball game.
What a job that man's done. Bobo Bilovich, the rookie head coach of the Argos, at the halfway point. He's only lost 2 games. Clements, this one is complete for Crawford. And Crawford runs into John Pointer after he gained about 5 yards. But you can see that Argo defense is swarming. They're fired up. This is a big game for them. An Argo victory pretty well will assure them of a first-place finish. If Hamilton wins the ball game, the Cats and the Argos will fight it out right to the final game in all probability to see who wins the Eastern Conference.
You know, you get into a game of such importance as this one, and on the players' minds, definitely has to be to get off to a good start. I'm sure Tom Clements will just stay with that short passing game and try and get some ball control.
The gain was 6 yards, and it's 2nd and 4. Clements fires. The pass is complete to DiPietro. He has the first down across midfield into Toronto territory at about the 53. Gabrielson and Pointer again there to make the tackle for the Argos. Rocky DiPietro came into this ball game with 43 catches. The unusual thing about it is he only has 1 TD.
And I think another unusual thing about his statistics that he's only averaging 14.9 yards a catch, and that's maybe a little low for a slot back in the league today, but it just shows you the style of ball control that Tom Clements and his offense is trying to employ.
First down, Hamilton at the Toronto 53. Clements is going deep for Keith Baker, just beyond his outstretched hands with Don Rose, the sophomore from the Hampton Institute, the cornerback on that side, number 6, providing the defensive coverage. Second down. Tommy Clements, as you look at him, number 2, as Leaf mentioned at the top of the show, comes into this ball game having completed 65% of his passes, but the unusual statistic is he has thrown 16 interceptions and only 11 TDs.
Not a bad play early in the ball game to throw that deep one. Even though they didn't complete it, they accomplished the fact that they will go deep. It could loosen Don Rose up a little bit for Keith Baker on the out and curl patterns that he loves to run.
2nd and 10, Hamilton. Flag comes down as Johnson makes the catch. He would have the first down, but there is a flag at the line of scrimmage.
Clements pass completed to Ron Johnson.
That was vintage Tom Clements. Rolling to his left, throwing on the run. Johnson wide open, makes the catch, but we'll have to see what the penalty is.
Holding, Toronto, number 13. Deep line, first down.
Darrell Wilson, number 13, the rookie from the University of Connecticut, was called for holding. The Ticats declined the penalty. They have first down at the Toronto 41-yard line. Exactly the kind of ball game we expected. The ball will be in the air 90% of the time, and this should be a high-scoring one. Purvis comes in motion, and Clements gives to Rufus Crawford on the first running play of the ball game for Hamilton, and Crawford gets about 5 yards. Jeff Gabrielson, number 72, makes the stop. Gabrielson, incidentally, coming into this ball game, as you look at Tommy Clements, is the leading tackler on this Argo club. He had 37.5 tackles coming into the game.
That's a play I don't think you'll see too often tonight. Rufus Crawford carrying the football. Tom Clements feels that the running play is really a wasted play. He wants to throw that football, and that's what they've had success doing.
He's got to throw it right now. It is 2nd and 6. The pass was just slightly behind Mark Bragagnola, and they roll incomplete. It looked incomplete to me. What did you think, receiver?
Well, they're always good when you're a receiver, but really I think it looked as though the ball touched the ground. Marks Braganola is awfully upset. He feels he made the catch. Maybe we'll see from this angle. If he made it, it was a heck of a catch. But I don't know. I think from that angle, it looked like it was a pretty good catch, and maybe Mark had something to be upset about.
It's like receivers drama school, isn't it, Lee?
Well, you got to let the referee know you're a little upset with the call every once in a while, Bill.
From the 44-yard line, Bernie Ruoff tries the field goal, and it is good. The Hamilton Ticats have hit the scoreboard on a 44-yard field goal by Bernie Ruoff. Bud Riley has to be a little more pleased. At least they had a good march. They moved from their 30-yard line all the way down into Toronto territory. And though they didn't get the major score, they got the field goal. So now it's Toronto 7, Hamilton 3. We'll be back in just a moment. The crowd somewhere around 50,000 here at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. They're seeing a dandy, at least in the first half of this first quarter, as Bernie Ruoff kicks it away. And this is Cedric Mitter starting from his 23. And Mitter picks his way out over the 35 to about the 37-yard line. So now it's incumbent upon the Hamilton defense to stop Toronto. The first time the Argos got their hands on the football, they went for the major score.
Well, you know, a lot of people have different opinions about the 2-week layoff, and we had a chance to ask Conrich Holloway how he thought the 2-week layoff would affect his young club.
Well, I think it's the way you approach it, and with our young team, we approached it with the outlook that we had a game. By that, I mean we had 3 hard work days and we had 1 light day, and the only thing that was missing out of our week that we missed was a game, actually. Sometimes when you have a veteran team, you tend to take more days off because you're going to to do that. When we were so young, we just approached it as if we did have a game, and therefore we're right on schedule now with playing this week.
Well, it's kind of like a practice right now for the Argos because they're doing anything they want offensively. Conrad Holloway's pass to Dave Newman was good for 19 yards, and the Argos have a first down in Hamilton territory at the 52.5.
They have to be happy to have Dave Newman back in the lineup. What an exciting performer he's been over the last couple of seasons with the Argonauts. Injuries have plagued him, but early in the first quarter, he's getting the feel of the game now, and it's good to see Holloway going to him to get that feel of the ball game early. 4 for 4 is Holloway for 1 touchdown already. Sets up the screen to Brock. This guy can lumber. He gets to the 45-yard line. Mike McIntyre, the safety, number 26, was up there. So, too, was John Priestner. Good play selection by Holloway. Once again, going to the screen to Bob Bronk. That's an outstanding first down play because now they find themselves in second and short yardage situation. It certainly makes the quarterback's job a lot easier in his play selection.
The ball is right at the Hamilton 45. Second down, 2 yards to go. Toronto. On this, their second possession of the ball game, they lead 7-3. Holloway throws, and Greer couldn't hang on. The pass was right on the money. Holloway drilled it in there, and Greer simply couldn't hang on to it.
A matchup that the Argonauts want tonight. Terry Greer on Leroy Paul. This time Leroy Paul wins as the ball is a little off target, but certainly that's one of the things that the Toronto Argonauts have in their game plan tonight is to work on number 27, Leroy Paul, and I think he's a good cornerback. I don't know why they're going against him, but I guess they have to pick on somebody.
Let me tell you, if that ball was off target, then I want to see the quarterback that's going to deliver it much better. You receivers all stick together.
A little bit off target.
He should have had the ball. It is third down, and Andrew Sisson will be punting for the first time in the game.
Geez, I hope you weren't that hard on me when I was playing.
I was. Worse. The ball bounces beyond David Shaw, and it will go for a single point. Andrew Sisson gets the single point, and the Argos go out in front of Hamilton 8-3. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm your...
on with the Argos as they go on defense now, leading 8-3, and Hamilton takes possession at their 35-yard line. Clements quickly to DiPietro. DiPietro has the first down over the 45 to about the 49-yard line. Zach Henderson cut the legs out from under him, number 31. But, you know, we call this a shootout. That's kind of prophetic because with the exception of Hamilton's first possession, the teams have scored points every time they've had the ball.
Well, I'm not surprised when you put two good offenses together in one game as we have here tonight. You're going to see a lot of points scored, and Rocky DiPietro, very dependable performer for the Ticats.
First down, Hamilton at their 49-yard line. Clements throwing it up for Keith Baker, but he wasn't set. A flag comes down, and Don Rose is going to be called for pass interference. Well, he didn't have to touch Baker because there was no way he was going to get to the ball, but he did make contact. And so it's interference against Toronto.
Defensive pass interference, Toronto number 6. First down.
Two big breaks already for the Ticats. The first one, the holding penalty on Darrell Wilson. This time, cornerback Don Rose is called for interference, trying to hit Keith Baker on that deep one. And of course, if you remember that last game with the Toronto Argonauts, Keith Baker caught 2 long touchdown passes over Don Rose. It looks as though they're going with the same game plan.
Ball at the 32-yard line of the Argos. First down, Hamilton. The pass was picked off by Zach Henderson. They rule no good. Will you hear the crowd on this one?
Excellent call by the official. The ball was dropped. It looked like Zach Henderson had a good shot to intercept that football. But as you'll see in our replay, I hope we get a good angle of this. Zach Henderson does not make the interception. The ball is tipped. And watch as he's going down. That ball's going to hit the ground. Yeah, he traps it.
Good call, Leaf, and a good call by the officials. Because to the majority of the people, Henderson had his back to them. And they couldn't see that the ball had come loose. Going deep for Rocky DiPietro and just beyond his outstretched hand. Can't come any closer without the touchdown.
You know, gentlemen, an interesting point about this Hamilton Ticat club, despite the fact they've had a slow start compared to last year, talking to head coach Bud Riley, he said last year under Frank Cush, he said we worked so hard at the first half, he said in the second half we were tired out. He says, I don't want that to happen to this club. We're going to finish strong.
Well, you were there. Do you concur with that, Lee?
I certainly do concur with that. By November last year, I was dead tired. All I wanted to do was go down to Florida.
Bertie Ruoff will try his second field goal of the ball game from the 38-yard line. And it's good. A line drive shot that just cleared the bar. It came out of there like a rifle shot. And so Ruoff's second field goal of the ball game is good, and now we have an 8-6 score. Bill?
Rufus Crawford is with me. Rufus, you've just come back after trying out in the Los Angeles camp. You haven't played in a game now since last year. Do you feel just a little stale?
Just a little bit, you know. I was down in San Francisco, and I hadn't worked out since August 4th when they released me, and because I had a hamstring pull. And so I've just been really rehabilitating it, and so that's what I've been doing so far.
Do you expect to do more pass receiving than you do running in this game tonight?
I think so. You know, the game is changing so much now, and most of the teams are doing mostly passing, so I would say so.
You have found that much difference, have you, between last year and this year?
A little bit.
All right.
A little bit.
Rufus Crawford, good luck to you this season.
Thank you.
Rufus Crawford, who, as he pointed out to us, was with San Francisco, of course, and now is back and hopes to do a lot of pass catching tonight. Leaf and pass.
Bernie Ruoff's kickoff comes to JoJo Heath. And Heath gets out to about the 37-yard line, not much further. Downfield quickly was number 39, Ed Gadavekis, to make the stop for the Ticats.
You know, getting back to that interview with Rufus Crawford, I think he's really a good addition to the Hamilton lineup tonight. He's an excellent receiver out of the backfield, and as Bill and Rufus talked, the whole CFL is total pass now, and you might as well have a back in there that's just like having a wide receiver, an extra slot back, and that's the one dimension that he'll add to their offense.
From the 38-yard line, the Argos begin. The toss goes to Cedric Minter. And Minter struggles his way to about the 41, not much further. He was grabbed by James Ramey, number 68, around the ankles, and he couldn't shake him off. So the gain will be about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 Argos. And this first quarter has just flown by. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the opening quarter of an 8-6 ball game. There's the Eastern Conference standings. You see how important this game is. Toronto wins it. They go up to 13 points. They will have 5 more than the Ticats. But a Hamilton victory, and they are back within 1. Pearson was wide open, has the first down into the Hamilton 48-yard line. Mike McIntyre from the University of New Brunswick made the tackle.
Well, the Toronto Argonauts, Paul Pearson making another big play. He's had an excellent first half of the season this year. You know, one of the things the Ticat defensive players told me before the game is they had to make Toronto work hard for their touchdowns, not give them the big play, and I think that was a pretty big play right there. But Paul Pearson's had an excellent first half, as I mentioned, and I think it's a pretty good hit there as well.
21 yards the gain on the 5th completion in 7 attempts by Holloway. The give is to Minter. And again, the Ticats wrap him up. Jeff Blanchard, number 75, along with Wilf Simon, number 60, the newcomer to that defensive line for the Ticats, there to make the stop.
Wilf Simon's an interesting story. He was with the Ticats in training camp and broke his foot. They sent him home. He's now healthy. They've got him back in the lineup.
Jim Muller, the Queen's University grad who normally plays as a down lineman for the Ticats, is on the injured list. And that enabled Hamilton to get Simon into the ball game. 2nd and 8. Toronto. Holloway throws. Greer makes the catch and has the first down at the Hamilton 21-yard line. Again, Leroy Paul the victim.
Well, Leroy Paul and Terry Greer are going to have some battles all night. This time, Terry Greer wins this one. So we get a chance to see the end of the play, but Leroy Paul up in bumper run coverage, and Terry Greer made a little move and just blew right by him, and that's the matchup that the Argonauts want. Once again, another look, and Terry Greer just gets by Leroy Paul trying to give him a hit at the line of scrimmage, but he lost that battle.
21 yards the gain. First down, Toronto at the Hamilton 21. Oh, good move by Holloway initially, but he's put in the sack back at the 31-yard line. Grover Covington, Ben Zambiazzi, and Jeff Blanchard all there to get the quarterback sacked. As the first quarter comes to an end with the Toronto Argonauts out in front of the Hamilton Ticats, 8-6. We'll return with the second quarter in a moment. Yours with Hamilton. What a season he's had with the Argos. It is 2nd down. Toronto, 2nd and 20 as Martin Cox takes that flanker screen and gets inside the 20 to about the 19. The Argos will be short by about 8 yards of the first down as Carm Cartieri, 47, and Mike McIntyre, 26, are there to make the stop.
You'll notice that Wilfred Simon's going back in. He was out for a little bit, and the problem was that he injured his left arm. It was just a bit of a crack above the elbow, but he appears to be fine.
Well, I think that showed the experience of Conrad Holloway. You know, he had 2nd and 20-odd yards to go for a first down, and rather than maybe force an interception deep, just trying to pick up the first down, he got some yardage back, and at least it sets up a field goal attempt by his kicker, and they're not forsaking any points in this case.
The field goal by Andrew Sisson from 26 yards is good. And the Argos go out in front of the Hamilton Ticats, 11-6.
Well, we have a little break in the action. I'd like to welcome all our viewers across the United States that are joining us on the ESPN network. And I know one interested mother in Alabama is tuning in tonight, Bud Riley's mother, who's 86 today. And Bud would like to wish you a very happy birthday.
And so would we, Mrs. Riley. And I'll tell you, Bud has had a tremendous career here in Canada. Now the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, and he'd like to see his Hamilton offense score major. They haven't picked up a touchdown tonight. Their 6 points coming off the toe of Bernie Ruoff. But with the exception of that very first Hamilton possession, the teams have scored points every time they've had the ball.
But you know, Pat, the shortcoming of the Ticat offense all year has been that inability to get in for the touchdowns and settling, of course, on many field goals so far this season by Bernie Ruoff. That last one, I'm sure he's practicing for a heavy win someday. He hit that line drive, but really, I think that one of the key stories of the Ticats this year is their inability to score that big touchdown and have to rely, of course, on Bernie Ruoff's team.
Zenon Andrews Sessions kickoff is taken on the dead run by Howard Fields. Ooh, and was he slapped down? Steve Aykroyd and Freddie Nordgren, but there is a penalty flag on the play.
What a performer Steve Aykroyd's been for the Argonauts so far this year. You know, he just plays in a backup capacity, the 6th defensive back, and already this season he has 3 interceptions.
Illegal block, Hamilton, number 15.
Dave Purvis, number 15, with an illegal block. So that'll put the Ticats in a hole back at their 21-yard line. Conrad Holloway, what can you say, except he's had an outstanding season. He's completed 8 out of 9 tonight, including that great touchdown pass to Terry Greer.
What a difference a year makes.
Boy, that's for certain. Clements quickly fires to DiPietro, and he'll be very close to a first down as Zach Henderson grabbed him immediately, but the ball was right on the money by the Hamilton quarterback.
That play is something that they've strictly picked up from watching films of the Toronto Argonauts. I know that when that linebacker, the outside linebacker in this case, Tim Berryman, moves outside, it leaves an opening for Rocky DiPietro, and an excellent call on first down.
You know, you were saying that the Ticats haven't been able to score touchdowns. One of the reasons is number 71 isn't there this year. My old partner, Lee Pedersen. First down, Hamilton, the ball at their 31. Clements throws, Baker makes the catch. And he gets very close to the 40-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, but he'll have a gain of very close to 8. Gabrielson and Rose were there to make the stop.
That pass play that Tom Clements just completed to Keith Baker was a direct result of what we talked about earlier in the first quarter about Baker going deep. He's running the quick out, and Tom Clements is able to complete that pass because Don Rose now is thinking deep, and he gave Baker all kinds of room.
Gain was 8 yards. It is 2nd and 2, Ticats. Ball just about at their 40-yard line. Give us to Bragignola. He has the first down and lots more as he gets over the 50 to about the 51-yard line. A gain of more than 10 yards for Mark Bragignola. Darrell Wilson, number 13, and Zach Henderson, the reverse, 31, make the tackle.
Well, the Ticat offensive line with number 63, Marv Alamang, the right tackle, they do a good job sealing the Toronto defensive line down inside, enabling Mark Bragignola. I didn't realize now he's played 6 years in the CFL. Really, that's quite a long time.
Time flies. Clements throws. It is complete to Steve Kearns, the newcomer from the British Columbia Lions, who gets another Hamilton first down. This is a guy they were delighted to get. Bud Riley was telling me they couldn't believe that BC would free him up, but they have so many Canadians on that fine BC club that Kearns had to go.
Tommy Clements told me this week he was really pleasantly surprised when Kearns came in and joined the team, just how good a slot back he was, and also he does an exceptional job on the special teams. That's another reason why Bud Riley likes him.
First down, Hamilton at the Toronto 45. Clements puts it up for Johnson, and it's just beyond his outstretched hand. Let's go to Bill.
I've got James Ramey, a member of that tough front four. James, what I want to ask you about is what you're trying to do and what you hope to do to stop Conrad Holloway.
We've simplified our defense a bit, and what we're doing...
Have a look at the mic there, James.
What we're doing is we're not concentrating as much on little bitty reads that we were doing. What we're doing is just getting off, taking the guy where he's wanting to go, take his momentum that way and go the other way, and so far it's working.
Are you going to do a lot of blitzing?
We're going to get to Connie. If that takes a blitz, it'll be a blitz. If it doesn't, then it won't. But we're going to try to get to him as much as possible.
Thanks, James.
Clements fires. The pass is complete to Baker. He has another first down inside the 30 to the 29-yard line as Baker continues to work on Don Rose. 16 yards the gain. The 9th completion by Clements tonight in 16 attempts.
Bob Abilovich on the sidelines has to be a little concerned when Tom Clements gets rolling. It's tough to stop him, and it looks like they've the Ticat offense finally in the second quarter now has hit stride, and Clements is connecting on all his passes now.
Nobody would know it any better than Obi because, of course, he was with Tom Clements in Ottawa, and they both worked for George Brancato. First down, Hamilton, the ball at the Toronto 30-yard line. Clements fires. He was looking for Johnson. Heath tried to make a diving interception, but he could not come up with the ball. Ron Johnson, coming into this ball game, had 27 catches, 3 of them for touchdowns. He had a big game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Certainly right. He caught 3 touchdowns, if my memory serves me correct, in that ball game. This time, he and Tom Clements unable to hook up, but I think you have to credit some of that defense to John Pointer, who was coming on a blitz. He got into Clements awfully quickly, and Clements didn't have the time to let the pass pattern develop.
10 minutes left to play in the first half. It's just flying by here. It is Toronto 11, Hamilton 6. Ticats with a 2nd and 10 from the Toronto 30. Touchdown, Rocky DiPietro. What a pass by Clements. Right on the money, and DiPietro hauls it in for his 2nd touchdown pass of the year.
Well, as you can see, there's a lot of people that have made the drive over from Hamilton tonight to Exhibition Stadium. They're on their feet. They're happy because Tom Clements is hooked up with number 23, Rocky DiPietro. One of the problems the Ticats have been having is scoring touchdowns. They have to get more production from DiPietro. They've got it tonight in the second quarter, a 29-yard touchdown.
The first major score for the Ticats, but it puts them into the lead. And Bernie Ruoff's point after is good, and so now Hamilton goes out in front of the Argos, 13-11 for the first time in this ball game.
And when we look to our Panasonic play of the game at the end of the game, we'll have to look possibly at the touchdown by Rocky DiPietro, putting the Ticats into the lead.
All right, it's Bernie Ruoff is set for the kickoff, and he drills it down. Let's see who it comes to. This is Cedric Minter, who starts from his 10. And Minter just takes it straight upfield to about the 33-yard line, so that's where the Toronto Argonauts will put it into play.
One of the toughest jobs for a linebacker is to cover that back one-on-one. We asked Ben Zambiese, how you plan to defend Cedric Minter?
Well, to cover Cedric Minter, I think you have to get a bump on him before he releases off the line of scrimmage. He's a very quick back. He's not extremely fast, except that he does have good moves and great balance. And you just got to tie up with him a little bit and rough him up a little bit before he gets off the line of scrimmage, and hope for the best.
All right, let's see what happens. A good explanation by Ben, an outstanding linebacker for his entire career. The pass is complete to Newman. He takes quite a shot from Carm Cartieri, but he hangs on to the ball, and he'll have a gain of, well, about 7 or 8 yards.
We've seen some great hits already in this first half of football, and Carm Cartieri really puts a lick on Dave Newman, saying, glad you're back.
Well, as you mentioned, Dave, his first year in the CFL, he was the Rookie of the Year in the Eastern Conference. He was banged up most of last year and hurt most of this season.
Let me tell you, when I played with Hamilton, they always wanted to put the hits on Newman.
2nd and 3, Argos. Holloway's pass is complete to Pearson. He gets a first down, pulled down by Jeff Blanchard, but there is a flag on the play. Holding appeared to be the call against the Hamilton Ticats. Here's referee Ross Perrier.
Holding Hamilton, number 16.
The holding call is against Howard Fields. So the Argos will have a first down just inside their 50-yard line. We've got 8 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in this half. It is Hamilton 13, Toronto 11.
Draganola, I think, is explaining to the coach why he's not able to get out in some of those pass patterns. You know, they've left the backs in for some extra blocking protection, and I think that's why you see Tom Clements getting a little more time to throw.
Is complete to Pearson for another Toronto first down. The hit was made by Mike McIntyre, but Pearson, the leading receiver on this Toronto club, coming into this game with 34 catches, grabs another one for the double blue right now. And that is his third reception of this ball game.
Well, Paul Pearson just finds the open area and stays there. Takes a good hit from number 26, Mike McIntyre, the rookie from the University of New Brunswick. But there's no one better in the league than Paul Pearson at hanging on to that football in traffic.
First down Argos at the 41-yard line. They fake the draw to Cedric Mitter. Fire to Bob Gronk, but a flag now comes down late. James Ramey had the screen perfectly covered, but we may have a roughing the passer call against Jeff Blanchard, number 75. This is the biggest and the noisiest crowd I've heard in Toronto.
Major foul, Hamilton, number 75, roughing the passer.
Well, that was the penalty against the newcomer from Rutgers University, Jeff Blanchard, the 6'2", 230-pound linebacker.
The Ticat defense has switched to a three-man line, inserting number 75, Jeff Blanchard, as a linebacker. They put him in there because they feel they get a better pass rush with him. Unfortunately for Blanchard, that time he was a little late, and hence the roughing penalty.
What a night Conrad Holloway's having. 10 out of 11 for 172 yards so far. First down, Toronto, the ball at the Hamilton 26-yard line. Holloway throwing for Terry Greer, but Leroy Paul was with him. And I'm not sure that Greer necessarily was the intended receiver. It might have been Cedric Mitter who was streaking downfield as well. Bill?
Rocky DiPietro is with me. Rocky, that was a sweet touchdown. Tell us how it was called. Stand up here, Rocky, if you can.
Well, initially it was supposed to be a pick. I was supposed to go and set a pick on the corner for Keith Baker, but they rolled up into a zone against us, so I just wheeled it, and Tommy was rolling out that way, so he just caught me at the last minute.
Passing game looking great.
Well, so far it looks good. Looks like it's going to be an offensive game, so we got to come up big a few more times.
Thank you, Rocky.
Thank you very much.
From the University of Ottawa, Rocky DiPietro. Second down and 10. Toronto at the Hamilton 26. Holloway's throw for Terry Greer. Touchdown. Is he any good? His second touchdown reception of the night. Good for 26 yards. Conrad Holloway, 11 of 12 in passing, throws another strike to Greer.
Leroy Paul and Terry Greer have been having a battle so far in this first half. Unquestionably, Terry Greer's winning that time, a 26-yard touchdown reception.
The point after by Andrew Session is good. The Argos are back out in front.
Well, we talked about it once again. We saw Terry Greer make a move and go by Leroy Paul earlier in the ball game. Again, the same thing, this time to the inside. It just shows the outstanding athlete.
Rufus Crawford is number 21. Howard Field, 16. They await the kickoff from Zenon Andrusician as the Argos have gone back in front 18-13 with 6:55 left in the first half. Crawford allows the ball to go out of bounds. If you've just joined us, let me just tell you that with the exception of Hamilton's first possession, which was the first possession of this ball game, each team has scored every time they've had the ball. There have been 7 possessions since that time, and there have been points that have resulted from all of those possessions. Quite a ball game.
We call this game a shootout, and we certainly haven't been disappointed. Pat mentioned teams going just up and down the field. I'm really enjoying this. One of the better games we've had to do this year.
Well, it's one of the better games we've had to do in a long, long time in the Eastern Conference. I can assure you of that. Let me just correct Conrad Holloway's passing statistics. 11 of 13, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. Toronto 18, Hamilton 13. 6:55 left in the first half. This will be Crawford from his 15-yard line. A great downfield tackle for the Toronto Argonauts by number 23, John Lowe, as he contains Crawford inside the Hamilton 30.
Well, we have a chance to see the offensive line coach of the Argonauts, Bob Paulsick, and what a great job he's done with that offensive line. They've really afforded Holloway the time to throw the football, not only this evening, but all season so far.
That entire coaching staff has done a remarkable job. Clemens comes out now, having completed 11 of 18 for 128 yards and 1 touchdown. as he starts from his own 28-yard line. The crowd hasn't let up from the opening kickoff. The draw to Rufus Crawford. And Crawford is over the 30 to about the 33. He'll have a gain of 5. Tim Berryman, number 41, the linebacker on that side, and Freddie Nordgren, number 49, make the tackle. It's only the 5th running play of the ball game. Rufus Crawford gets 5 as Clemens tries to keep that defensive charge of the Toronto Argonauts honest. He's got Ron Johnson at the top of the formation, Keith Baker at the bottom. He fakes the draw to Crawford, now sets up the screen for Bragignola. And Bragignola has a first down over the 40 to the 41. Zach Henderson slid in there from his free safety spot to make the tackle, 31.
Excellent execution by the Ticat offense. And watch number 54, Ross Francis, and number 59, Ed Fulton. Ross Francis just puts a tremendous block on number 72, Jeff Gabriel, giving Mark Braganola some running room. But the offensive line of Hamilton's doing an excellent job so far this evening.
First down, Ticats from their 40. Clemens throws, and is the pass complete? Yes, it is, for another first down to Keith Baker. And they rule he made the catch at the 52-yard line. Well, that was a great throw by Clemens. He kept the ball low, and an equally fine catch by Keith Baker because he had Don Rose all over him.
I can tell you from our vantage point, it looked like the ball was a one-hopper, but from our great isolation shot there, we can see that it definitely was a good catch by Keith Baker.
Clemens going for the marbles to Baker. It is picked off by Darrell Wilson. Wilson makes the interception at the 7-yard line.
Well, the first mistake of the ball game by Tom Clements. I think he was fooled by the Toronto Argonaut coverage. He was expecting man-to-man. They were back deep in his zone. No chance for Keith Baker to catch this football. The only one that could was Darrell Wilson, and he makes the interception.
With 4 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first half. Toronto 18, Hamilton 13. We'll be back in a moment. Toronto tonight, an equally big one tomorrow when the Calgary Stampeders visit the Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. Who do you like in that one?
Well, I don't know. Tough defensive team, Calgary. Great offensive team, Winnipeg. It should be an excellent matchup.
From the 7-yard line, Holloway has some time. Flags come down. We'll probably get a holding penalty against the Argos. That's the preliminary call, holding against Toronto. You'll notice Coach Obilovich is a very calm and cool guy on the sidelines. He knows exactly what he wants. Here's the call.
Holding, Toronto, number 63. First down repeated.
John Malinowski, the right tackle, is called for holding, but I was saying about Obilovich, he's waited for this opportunity for years. Now that he has it, he really thinks he can do a job here, and he's done a job. They won 2 games last year already. They've won 5 and tied 1.
If they stop the season right now, we said it last week, he has to be the coach of the year so far if they stop the season right now.
Let's not forget that Jack Goda's done quite a job with the Calgary Stampeders as well. Holloway throws. The catch is made by Pearson, and he goes down at about the 9-yard line. He took quite a bang from Gerald Best, number 14, but again, Pearson hung on to the ball.
Well, some great hitting on both sides of the football, but this is an extremely important series for the Ticat defense. They've fallen behind now by 5 points, and I think it's very important for them to come up tough now. If they're able to stop Toronto at this point, they'll get the ball in good field position.
With the ball at the 8.5-yard line, it's 2nd and 9. Argos, of course, had been marched back because of the holding penalty. Holloway swings it out to Minter, and he's forced out of bounds at the 15-yard line by Gerald Best. And the Argos will have to punt with 2 minutes and 59 seconds left in the first half. The score, Toronto 18, Hamilton 13. We'll be back in just a moment.
Huddle is here, a preview of your area's conference teams. Huddle is loaded and it's free. Be game ready. Take a look at the players, plays, and coaches that make the difference each week. Quizzes, contests, and cheerleaders worth cheering about. Get in the habit of being informed. Huddle has it all every week, and it's free. In the Atlantic Coast, Southeast, and Southwest conferences. Now at participating locations of these and other fine convenience stores. Look for Huddle free in your area soon.
Well, I don't know what the official attendance will be tonight, but it's got to be over 50,000 because the entire park is jammed. I mean, everywhere you went in Toronto this week, it was, can you get me tickets to the Argo games? Last year, no conversation around town. Today, this week, everybody's talking about the double blue.
Well, it's great to see the enthusiasm in Toronto, especially for the Argonauts. They played well, and they certainly deserve the support that they're getting now. And the fans are being treated to an excellent ball game, and the Argonauts have played very well at home this year, and a very entertaining product on the field to watch.
The Argos have not lost a home game in 1982 as Zenon Andrusishin prepares to punt on 3rd and 2. He stands at his goal line for only his second punt of the ball game. This is a good one. David Shaw back at his 44-yard line. Shaw crosses midfield and gets to the Toronto 54. Good downfield tackle again by Steve Ackroyd. A 51-yard boot by Andrusishin. And that's a clutch kick, no question about that. A 12-yard return. So with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left to play in the first half, we'll go down to Bill Stevenson.
Terry Greer, the 2-touchdown man. Terry, what have you been doing out there? It's been getting you into the clear.
Well, he's been playing a lot of bump and run. He haven't had any deep help, so I've just been taking it inside on him every time. You know, it's been there. Connor's find me. But one time he looped it over, and next time he just threw a line drive. So I got to give Connor a lot of the credit.
Do you think that you've got too much speed for the man trying to cover you?
Well, I'm not going to ever say that I got too much speed, because I don't. I can always use a little bit more.
All right. Thank you, Terry Greer.
Mark Bragagnola carried the ball for the Ticats. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage by Leon Lescavage, so it'll be 2nd and 10. And I was a little bit surprised at the call by Tommy Clemens, because with 2:28 left to play in this first half, I would have thought he'd have gone upstairs. He certainly will on this play if he gets the opportunity. Let's watch and see. Clemens throws over the head of Dave Purvis, number 15. And so the Ticats will be punting.
Well, I know Tom Clements is a little disappointed with that pass, but really Dave Purvis found the open seam, and Tom expected him to keep going. Dave really slowed up, and a rookie mistake. He paid the price, too, as Jeff Gabrielson came over and gave him a pretty good hit. You know, you can't relax just because the ball was overthrown.
So Bernie Ruoff will be punting as Cedric Mitter and Jan Carinci drop back deep for the Argos. Ruoff angles it for the corner, but Carinci makes the catch at the 13. And the Toronto boy who went to the University of Maryland returns it over the 20 to the 23. And the Argos will have 1 minute and 58 seconds left in this first half to add to their 5-point lead.
Well, it's going to be a heck of a job to make our Carling O'Keefe Game Star choices, but I would have to think offensively at this point, Conridge Holloway, who's been 13 of 15 for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns already in this first half, would have to be considered as our offensive player.
Well, you're going to have a job tonight.
I might even include you tonight and help me pick them.
All right. I'm not sure I'll accept, but we'll decide that later. First down, Toronto. The pass for Mitter is complete out to the 45-yard line. Fine catch by Cedric Mitter. The Boise State All-American David Shaw and Mike McIntyre bring him down, but the Argos get out of a hole in a hurry.
We talked about how difficult it is for a linebacker to cover a back like Cedric Mitter. This time he put a move on Carterry, left him standing. As a result, the Argonauts come up with a big play, and with 1 minute and 44, they have a chance to put points on the board.
Ball is just outside the Toronto 45-yard line. Holloway looking for Terry Greer. He makes the catch. Greer is at the 35-yard line. And down he goes at about the 32. John Priestner makes the tackle, but Conrad Holloway is having an incredible night, and so too is Terry Greer.
Well, Terry Greer has owned Leroy Paul here in the first half tonight. Toronto has been the big play team all season. Another example of this, the catch, great catch, concentration. You know, I even think that Leroy Paul tipped that ball a little bit, but that shows you the excellent concentration of Terry Greer.
First down, Argos at the Hamilton 32-yard line. Holloway throws over the head of Paul Pearson. I've seen Conrad play an awful lot of football games. His years in Ottawa, here in Toronto. He's as hot tonight as any night I've seen him. That was probably the only bad pass he's thrown tonight, and it wasn't off the target by very much.
You know, Pat, I have to feel that he's finally getting the time from his offensive line to throw. You know, last year and years past, he was just getting bushwhacked all the time. Now he has time to set up and really concentrate on throwing the football instead of worrying about who's in his face all the time.
He's been good on 15 of 18 for 266 yards. For Martin Cox, just beyond his fingertips. Martin Cox, who's been a big play guy for the Argos, didn't miss that one by much, but you see him limping off the field. He's been out of the lineup for the last 3 games.
You have to wonder if that knee injury is still bothering Martin Cox. I think normally he would have laid out for that football. Pretty good throw by Holloway again. I think if he'd really stretched out, it could have been a catchable ball.
So with exactly 1 minute left to play in the first half, Zenon Andrusishin will attempt a 39-yard field goal. He was good from 25 yards on his only previous attempt in this ballgame. It is wide. David Shaw will get out of the end zone. And he's rocked out of bounds at about the 13-yard line by Bob Bronk.
Now, Bob Bronk not only runs the football hard, he's a pretty good tackler, too. But David Shaw is the leading punt returner in the Eastern Conference, and he saw a wall there setting up by his teammates and actually had a pretty good chance to have, well, he did have an excellent return, but it looked like he had a chance to go even farther, but a good tackle by Bob Bronk.
You were asking about Martin Cox a moment ago. He is limping very badly here, and Coach Bob Obilovich just came over to talk to him. From the way he is limping, he looks like he's going to have trouble going back in. It's the left knee, and he hurt it as he went for that ball. However, they can do many things, as you know, during halftime.
First down, Ticats. The give is to Mark Bragignola. And Bragignola gets out to the 20 with 43 seconds left to play in this first half. Jeff Gabrielson, who's been an impressive factor in this ball game, and Zach Henderson, 31, combined on the tackle. Gain was 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3, Ticats.
After those 2 big plays, one by Pearson and one by Terry Greer, I think if you're a Ticat fan, you have to feel a little relieved that they came unscathed from that, not having any points scored against them.
And if you're Bob Obilovich, you may have to look at that field goal kicker again. Rufus Crawford is jammed up and dropped back at the 17-yard line by Darrell Wilson, number 13. And Gabrielson came over the top.
Mark Braganola, who runs about 225 pounds, came on and took the little defensive back, Darrell Wilson. He stood Braganola right up and made an outstanding tackle and defensive play against Rufus Crawford. And I know there's only 23 seconds left, but if it's a short punt by Bernie Ruoff, you never know. Toronto could have a chance. With Cedric Minter, the only back to receive this punt, you have to believe that the Argonauts are going to try and block this kick.
And we obviously have a timeout on the field called by the Argos to stop the clock at 23 seconds. It is Toronto 18, Hamilton 13 in an extremely entertaining ball game before the largest crowd, I would think, in Toronto history, but we'll find that out later when they announce the official.
The last word as far as the crowd was concerned, Pat, and this was prior to the game when they sold a lot of the gate, of course, was about 46,000. So you could well be right. It could be the biggest crowd with the sale at the gate, because we've had just a perfect day here with temperatures in the mid-80s. It's summertime again in Toronto, thank goodness, because we didn't have it in August. And as far as the game is concerned, I think every fan's going to be coming back to this one. You just couldn't find any better action.
You're right, Bill, as Bernie Ruoff stands at his 5-yard line. Gets a high pass from center, but gets the boot away. Minter awaits at his own 39-yard line. A flag comes down. And Minter is forced out by Carm Cartieri at about the 43-yard line. Just 11 seconds showing on the clock, and we've got a holding penalty against the Argos on the return. Here's the call.
A little confusion as to who the penalty's against. I know Don Moen ran off the field all excited. He thought the penalty was against the Ticats.
Unnecessary major foul. Number 16, Hamilton, unnecessary roughing.
Well, the penalty is against the Ticats. Against Howard Fields, number 16. Jan Karinci talking things over with Bobo Bilovich, but now with 11 seconds, Conrad can load it up.
You know, one statistic that I looked at this week that I just couldn't believe, Hamilton was the least penalized team in the league.
Well, they probably wish Howard Fields had read that.
Angelo Mosca won't like that.
The screen is set up for Cedric Minter. And Minter will not get away. With 4 seconds left on the clock, the Argos will have possession at the Hamilton 47-yard line. All right, let's see what the Argos elect to do. Conrad Holloway is leaving the ball game. That means Zenon Andrusician will be on. And I would think that you'll see a punt by Andrusician here, which is exactly what he's going to do. There's no time remaining, unless the Big Z fakes this one. It will not get to the end zone. David Shaw makes the catch, and then he goes down at the 5-yard line. And that is the final play of a most entertaining first half as the Toronto Argonauts leave the field to a good ovation from this packed house with an 18-13 lead over the Hamilton Ticats.
As you point out, Pat, an extremely interesting and entertaining ball game. The build-up to it for the past 2 weeks has been huge, of course. Hamilton coming in with only 3 days rest after they had to play on Monday, Labor Day, while the Argos have had 2 weeks that they have been able to get ready for it. This is CTV.
The Argonauts only have 10 yards of offense here in the third quarter. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the reasons this is only their second possession and we only have 3.5 minutes left in the quarter.
They haven't got a first down in this third quarter. And now find themselves 2nd and 10 with the ball just outside their 25-yard line. Holloway throws, Greer makes the catch. And a saving tackle by Ben Zambiazzi, because had Greer gotten to the outside, nobody has the kind of speed that would have hauled him down before he reached the end zone. Big play by Conrad Holloway and Terry Greer.
Well, one of the few times you'll see the Ticats secondary in a zone. Terry Greer just keeps working towards the open spot. The offensive line gave Holloway the time to throw. He completed the pass, but did you notice the soft hands that Terry Greer used? Didn't allow the ball to get into his body, caught it in his hands, and then worried about running farther.
First down, Toronto at the Hamilton 50-yard line. They trail by 9. Pass for Pearson is off the mark.
Well, that last play, maybe that's why Hamilton hasn't been playing much zone coverage this year. It was pretty easy for Terry Greer to get in and find that open seam.
We've got 2 minutes, 33 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Hamilton 27, Toronto 18. The Argos led at 18-13 at the half. Greer has caught 6 passes tonight for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's watch him on this play. Holloway throws, and it was very nearly picked off by Carm Cartieri.
Quite frankly, I don't think Holloway saw Carm Cartieri. He was looking for Paul Pearson across the middle, and Carm Cartieri feels he should have had that interception. A chance to see it again here. Holloway, I'm sure he didn't see Cartieri sneaking into your picture at the bottom of the screen, and really a catchable ball. I know Carm will be a little upset with himself for not making that play.
Shaw and Crawford are back to receive this punt from Zenon Andrusician. Shaw at his 14-yard line. And he found a little bit of a seam there, got out over the 25 to the 26. Well, I want to pass along this information that there is an event called the 50th anniversary reunion of the Winnipeg High School Football League. It'll take the form of a reception and dance. It'll be held at the Winnipeg Convention Center on Friday, October the 22nd, beginning at 8 o'clock. Tickets are $12.50. They're available at all the schools in the league, and they're expecting some 2,000 people to attend. So now that you know about it, if you're in the Winnipeg area, get out there. You'll be there, Leaf, won't you?
Well, if I can get
to high school.
If I can get a flight.
Ticats start from their 26. This is Bragg-Ignola, runs into Jeff Gabrielson, but still manages to get about 5 yards.
The Ticats have done an outstanding job at eating up the clock here in this third quarter. You know, one statistic that I really wanted to get in was the averages of some of the receivers. You know, Keith Baker, we know him as an explosive receiver, but he's only averaging 13.8 yards a catch, and I think that really reflects the philosophy of Tom Clements and Bud Riley. They're trying to play a ball control style offense with that passing game, and you can see the result of the averages of some of the receivers.
Rufus Crawford comes out of the ball game, and Dave Graffey goes in. And it appears as though Crawford has banged up his knee a little bit, because the training staff is attending to him. As you look at line coach Bob Pulsick talking things over with the Toronto Argonaut offensive line.
Well, they've done a good job tonight. They've given Holloway plenty of time to throw the football.
2nd and 5. Ticats at their 31-yard line. Wide open is Mark Bragg-Ignola. He has the first down, and a flag comes down. They'll call spearing on Tim Berryman. It'll be a major foul piling on as Bragg-Ignola was down and Berryman speared him.
Good call by the official. You know, you don't like to see that type of play. Bragg-Ignola was no chance for him. No chance for him going any further. Tim Berryman didn't have to spear him. We'll get a chance to see it again, and I think the officials made a good play. They have to call this type of penalty.
The penalty moves the ball to the Toronto 52-yard line. 48 seconds left to play in this, the third quarter. Hamilton 27, Toronto 18. Packed house here at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. First one in years. Clements' pass is complete to Ron Johnson. And Johnson is inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Zach Henderson makes the stop for Toronto, along with Don Rose.
Well, it's been all Ticats here in the third quarter. Tom Clements has really found the groove, and he's spreading that ball around. Johnson, Baker, DiPietro, the newcomer you see there, Steve Kearns, they're all getting a chance to show what they can do, and you have to be impressed how Tom Clements operates this club.
He's been good on 23 of 34 for 277 yards. Gives to Rufus Crawford, and Crawford is wrapped up early. The ball comes loose, but he may have gotten it back. As the gun sounds to win the third quarter of play, Hamilton retains possession. They are out in front of Toronto, 27-18. We'll return with the fourth quarter in a moment. Total first downs in the third quarter, Hamilton 12, Toronto 1. Hamilton with a second down and 11 to go from the Toronto 39. The pass intended for DiPietro was broken up by Darrell Wilson.
Well, there you see it. 24 first downs for the Ticats after 3 quarters of play, and that's a phenomenal statistic. It really shows you how well they have moved the football. Total yards 311. You might think they'd have a little more than that, but total domination by the Cats in that third quarter, and that's what's got them in front, 27-18 at this point.
With Bernie Ruoff to try a 47-yard field goal, Tom Clements is the holder. The Argos send only Zach Henderson deep. Ruoff is good. And so the Ticats increase their lead. It is now Hamilton 30, Toronto 18. Well, they didn't have to come very far, those fans from Hamilton, but I'll tell you, they're sure enjoying themselves now. The Argos hoping to get on track before their largest crowd. The Argos have never played before a crowd this large, I don't believe. There probably have been more people in the stadium during a Grey Cup game, but I don't imagine for a regular Eastern Conference contest. Argos send JoJo Heath, Cedric Minter, and Terry Greer deep to receive the kickoff. We've just begun play here in the fourth quarter. The first half was outstanding. The Argos were unbelievable. JoJo Heath from his 8-yard line. A good return by Heath gives Toronto possession outside their 45 at about the 47-yard line. Gerald Best, number 14, finally brought down Heath. A 40-yard return by the cornerback of that Toronto secondary, number 24, JoJo Heath.
A pleasant surprise for the Argonauts, not only in the secondary this year, but also on those special teams. JoJo Heath could give the Argos that spark they need here in the fourth quarter.
Holloway goes down, back of the line of scrimmage at about the 43-yard line. James Ramey, number 68.
Tommy Lee, are you surprised that Conrad hasn't tried to do a little more running to loosen up that Hamilton defense?
Not really, Bill. I think the key in the CFL now is to throw the football, especially with Cedric Minter. I don't think they'd be that successful running the football against the Ticats tonight. I'm sure they know that, and the quickest way, of course, to the end zone is through the air, and I'm sure that's the pattern that they have to take now in the fourth quarter, being behind by 12 points.
It is 2nd and 14, Argos. The pass to Greer is complete. A flag comes down. Greer was thrown back about 8 yards, and he still struggles for what appears to be a first down. There was a flag on the play, probably interference to be called against the Ticats. It is.
Terry Greer had some contract problems in training camp, and you have to know that Ralph Sagio is breathing a sigh of relief that they were able to come to terms and have him in the lineup now, because he's certainly played well this evening and all year as well, too.
Well, I'll tell you, too, you know, out of this jam-packed stadium that we have at the exhibition here tonight, you have to think that there are a lot of Toronto fans wondering if maybe there is a hex or a jinx that the Ticats have over them. As we pointed out at the start of the game, since 1961, out of 70 meetings between the two, the Argos have managed to win only 23, and the last 7 have been won by Hamilton. And here the Cats come in with everything seemingly against them. The flu, as you have pointed out, also the fact, despite the fact, Leaf, you don't think it means too much, a very short rest, but they've done a job.
Interference, number 27, Hamilton. First down.
All right, the defensive pass interference was against Leroy Paul. There's a face that everybody in Canada, I'm sure, recognizes. The great Foster Hewitt, and his wife sitting beside him. Mrs. Hewitt is the mother of Stuart Lang, former fine receiver with the Edmonton Eskimos. First down, Argos from midfield. Ooh, and that one was very nearly picked off by Howard Fields. The intended receiver was Cedric Minter.
That was close to going all the way. If Cedric Minter makes that catch, there is nobody left to make tackle here. We'll get a chance to see it again. Howard Fields, and that's the beauty of the run and shoot offense. It sometimes can mix up the secondary. That time, Howard Fields a step late getting over, and that ball was on the money. Cedric Minter had a long way to go.
Second down, Argos. They trail by 12 points, 30-18. Wide comes down. Holloway puts it up, and a sensational catch by Terry Greer at the 35-yard line. But do we have a holding penalty against the Argos?
But an unfortunate break for the Toronto Argonauts. It appears they will be called for a holding. But Terry Greer, time and time again, is coming up with a big catch tonight. You cannot ask for any more from your wide receivers than he is giving. Conrad Holloway, a good throw, but even a better catch by Terry Greer. Leroy Paul all over his back, but he'll come down with the football. Unfortunately, all for naught, the Argos find themselves in a second and 20 situation.
Let me just pass along the information that the all-time Argo record crowd is 52,308. A game that Toronto beat Montreal back in 1978. They haven't announced the official one here. This is Greer. Greer had the ball go right through his hands. Leroy Paul went up for it and obviously distracted Terry sufficiently that he wasn't able to concentrate on the ball, and the pigskin went right through his hands.
I can tell you Leroy Paul is shaking his head downfield. He just does not know what to do with Terry Greer. Terry Greer was at least 5 yards in behind him. Had Conrad Holloway thrown the ball a little earlier, it would have been a touchdown. Leroy Paul has certainly had his hands full all evening.
Zenon Andrusishin is punting on 3rd and 20 for the Argos. The clock now becoming a factor. 12 minutes left to play in the ball game. Rufus Crawford takes it at his 22 and is dropped immediately by number 36 of the Argos, Don Moan. So it's Hamilton 30, Toronto 18. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we were right. It is an all-time record crowd for Exhibition Stadium. 52,521 watching the Hamilton Ticats and the Toronto Argos, with the Ticats out in front by 12 points, and they have a first down at their 26-yard line. Clemens' pass is complete to Baker. Rose wraps him up immediately. The ball comes loose. It's picked up by Darrell Wilson, but that will come back. A quick whistle. That is coming back.
I can tell you there's 50,000 odd people here tonight that disagree with the referee's decision there. A tough call. He has to determine when the forward progress is stopped. He felt done well.
Bad call. The
It
ball
certainly was.
free.
Bad call. Darrell Wilson should have had a touchdown. Nevertheless, Ticats regained possession.
Dragignola is met right in the hole by number 61, Jeff Gaylord, and John Pointer, number 37.
You know, Pat, these things work in funny ways. They lost a touchdown there, but a good defensive stand on 2nd and short. You never know how these plays might affect the club. They might take this ball down, drive it right down the field. We'll have to wait and see.
We've got 10 minutes, 23 seconds left to play in the ball game. Good punt by Ruoff. Carinci is back to his 15-yard line. And he slips down as he gets to about the 23 or 24. A 61-yard boot by Bernie Ruoff. And only a 7-yard return by Carinci, and so the Argos start in a hole again. It is Hamilton 30, Toronto 18. We'll be back in just a moment. Points, and they need them in a hurry. 10 minutes left to play in the ball game. Hamilton 30, Toronto 18. First down, Argos at their 23-yard line. Oh, they floated it up for Bob Bronk, but there was so much pressure by the newcomer, Will Simons, that they simply couldn't set up anything. Holloway wanted to go deeper downfield to Greer, but he couldn't set up in time to throw it. Well, from a Toronto Argonaut viewpoint, this may be the biggest play of the ball game because they need a first down and they need a big play. It's been all Hamilton here in the second half. Martin Cox is in the ball game. The last 5 passes by Conrad Holloway have been incomplete. He throws this one right on the money, however, for a first down to Cedric Minter at the 42-yard line. He caught the ball and was dropped immediately by Howard Fields, but a good play, good pitch and catch.
Good read by Conrad Holloway. He held on to that ball just that extra split second. Let Cedric Minter get in behind John Priestner in front of Howard Fields. Good throw, good catch.
It's only the third first down of the half for the Argos. They have the ball at their 41.5-yard line. Holloway throws for Newman, and again it goes through his hands. David has not made a spectacular return to the lineup by any means. Well, he's played so little football in the last 2 years. I know it's tough on him and it's tough on Argo fans, but in deference to Dave Newman, he just hasn't played enough football in the last couple of seasons.
You know, it's one thing to go through practice for a couple of weeks, getting yourself ready for the lineup, but once you get involved with the excitement and the pressure of a game, those things happen, and they are happening to Dave Newman.
Second down, 10 to go, Argos. Holloway throws over the middle to Pearson. He doesn't drop them. He gets a first down into the Hamilton 51-yard line. Mike McIntyre, the rookie from UNV, was there to make the stop, along with Ben Zambiazzi.
You have to be impressed with the Toronto Argonauts. All season long, when they've been behind, they keep picking away, Holloway gets Paul Pearson isolated on a linebacker. Carm Carteri takes full advantage of it. No way Carteri can cover Pearson in the open field.
First down, Argos at the Hamilton 52-yard line. They throw back to Terry Greer on the screen, and a fine tackle by Jeff Blanchford, 75, prevented Greer from going a long, long way. As it is, he gets about 7 yards.
Setting up that quick screen to Terry Greer, and he had the lineman out in front, but he cut back, and as Pat mentioned, Jeff Blanchard made a very good play to tackle Terry Greer in the open field. Nevertheless, they do pick up 8 yards on the play in a good situation for the Argonauts. 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 1.5.
Give us to Minter. He gets the first down and bulls his way to about the 27-yard line. John Priestner, number 36, made the tackle for Hamilton. But Minter has very fast acceleration. He's quick off the mark, and he just exploded through the hole.
We haven't talked about too many linemen tonight, but that time, number 63, John Malinowski, and number 59, the right guard, Roland Mangold, open a good hole, along with Jan Carinci, to spring Cedric Minter loose.
I noticed that Don Rose, the cornerback in the Toronto defense, has gone to the locker room. So he's obviously sustained an injury. Holloway's throw is no good as Leroy Paul came over the top of Terry Greer. Freddie Dunbar, the trainer of the Toronto Argonauts, went into the locker room with Don Rose, so we'll find out what that's about for you.
Yeah, I didn't see Don Rose get hurt at any play or not. Maybe it's well, I guess if Freddie went in with them. Fred, who is the head trainer of the Argonauts, must be some kind of problem with him.
21 of 37 is Conrad Holloway. He needs another one here. 2nd and 10 from the 37-yard line of the Ticats. The pass was very nearly picked off by Carm Cartieri again. It was intended for Dave Newman, but that's two that Cartieri has very nearly come up with.
Carm Cartieri could have our Carling Defensive Player of the Game award all locked up if he could catch the football. His second chance, as Pat mentioned. Really, Dave Newman did a good job, brought his hands back and tried and broke it up as well, but got to be frustrating for Cartieri. You know, there's not too many chances. Linebackers get the ball, but he had a good chance there.
With 6 minutes and 12 seconds to go, the Argos are going to go for it on 3rd and 10. They trail by 12. Ball is at the Hamilton 37-yard line. The catch is made by Kerry Greer for the first down at the 22-yard line. Kerry Greer has done every single thing you could ask of a receiver tonight. He gives the Argos a very, very necessary first down. So it is Hamilton 30, Toronto 18. And let's see now what the Argos can do with a first down at the Hamilton 21. They gambled on 3rd and 10. Holloway unloads it to Bronk, and he is licked by Ben Zambiazzi for a big loss back at the 32-yard line.
What a play by number 31, Ben Zambiazzi. He was in man-to-man coverage. Holloway tried in desperation to dump the ball off to Bob Bronk. Ben stayed with his man, did his job, and made a great hit. And that has to change the offensive thinking of Conrad Holloway now. He knows he's got 2 downs to make up the yardage. But
22 yards is what he's got to make up for the first down. Holloway is going to the end zone, and it is no good. Intended for Dave Newman. Again, the Argos will have to go for it with 4:20 left in the ball game.
What a job we're going to have picking our Panasonic play of the game. Any ideas so far?
Well, I like the touchdown pass that Clemens threw to Rocky DiPietro, but I think it's going to have to be something in this second half because that's when the Ticats really came on.
He's Terry Greer made so many outstanding catches tonight. Tough to overlook him.
The name of the game is win, though, isn't it?
That sure is.
Holloway is sacked by Jeff Blanchard back at the 43-yard line, and the Ticats will take over with 3 minutes, 59 seconds left in the ball game, and Holloway is banged up.
The exact reason why the Hamilton Ticat defense went to a 3-man line was to get a better pass rush from that linebacker, Jeff Blanchard.
His leg buckled right underneath him. That does not look...
Holloway, despite the fact that he is having injury problems, as you pointed out, Pat, is back here exhorting his offense, stating that we still have a chance. So hang on, we'll get that ball back, and we've got a chance.
Tommy Clemens is dragged down back at the 30-yard line by Jeff Gabrielson. And that's a loss of some 12 yards. And Tommy is now slow getting up.
One of the steadiest performers for the Argonauts on defense this year has been the play of number 72, linebacker Jeff Gabrielson. Here he shows some excellent speed and quickness as he hauls down Tommy Clemens from behind. And that's a big play there. If they can hold him now, they got a chance.
3 minutes, 10 seconds left in the ball game. Gabrielson, of course, came across to the Argos from the Montreal Alouettes. When Cousineau got hurt last year, Gabrielson filled in for him, and the Argos were very fortunate to get him. Well, we've got a timeout with 3 minutes and 4 seconds because Tommy Clements is banged up. And we're going to see Dave Marler, who hasn't seen very much action this year at all. It is Hamilton 30, Toronto 18. We'll be back in just a moment. Tommy Clements was banged up on that sack by Jeff Gabrielson. So he joins his former teammate Conrad Holloway on the sidelines right now. And Dave Marler is cast into this situation. He's got second and 22 yards to go for the first down with 3:04 left to play in the ball game, and the Ticats out in front by 12 points.
Well, Conrad Holloway is saying 2 plays and we're going to get the ball back.
Dave Marler from Mississippi State. The give is to Rufus Crawford, and he runs right into the arms of Tim Berryman, number 41, and also Freddie Nordgren, number 49. And so the Ticats will be punting with 2:45 left on the clock. Ruoff's last punt traveled 61 yards.
Well, if the Argonauts can get any kind of return here, they should enjoy pretty good field position. And with 2.5 minutes left in the ball game, this is do or die now for the Argonauts.
Well, it'd have to be a miracle finish. They trail by 12. Another terrific punt by Ruoff. Terenzi's back to his 24. And he's upended as he gets to the 35 by Howard Fields. Well, you could have anticipated pretty good field position, but because of the punting by Bernie Ruoff, that one 58 yards. The Argos start.
Objectionable conduct, Hamilton, number 23.
Oh, well, this will help their cause. Objectionable conduct called against Rocky DiPietro. And so the Argos will have the ball at their 45. The cheer is for Conrad Holloway, who's coming back out onto the field. So he's all right. And he has the Argos with possession at their 45-yard line with 2:17 left to play in the ball game. Holloway throws. It was bounced in front of Martin Cox.
Holloway couldn't wait any longer. He had to get rid of the ball. A pretty tentative throw. He was waiting for Martin Cox to finally come open. It happened so late that he skipped the ball into him. But the pressure's really on Holloway now. 12 points behind. He's going to have to dig into his bag of tricks and come up with something here.
Second and 10, Toronto. Holloway looks for Terry Greer. He makes the catch, and Paul grabs him at the Hamilton 50 with 2:04 left on the clock. He was looking for Greer all the way, and it took Greer a while to get open.
Another look at Terry Greer in isolation. He sees his quarterback in trouble, but he breaks to the outside, and Holloway delivers the football. 9 catches already in the ball game for Terry Greer, 191 yards.
The Argos do not huddle. They start from the Hamilton 50. The pass is complete to Greer again, his 10th reception. And Greer is going to score his 3rd touchdown of the game, but there's a flag down on the field, and we may have a clipping call. And it could be against Dave Newman. 32. It is. Dave Newman called for clipping.
What an effort by number 10, Terry Greer. All night he's given Leroy Paul trouble. He takes a couple of hits, keeps working. What a 110%er he is for the Argonauts. Keeps going. You'll see coming into your picture now the clip. Dave Newman on John Friesner. Close call. The official called a clipping. The touchdown does not count.
1:44 left in the ball game. Toronto does have a first down, however, at the Hamilton 29-yard line. Holloway throws, and John Priestner very nearly made that interception. He was looking for Paul Pearson.
Once again, another case where I don't think Holloway saw the underneath coverage by the linebackers. Looking for Paul Pearson. He didn't see John Priestner sliding across from his middle linebacking spots. Priestner should have made the interception. Boy, the Ticats have dropped a lot of balls in that defensive secondary tonight.
A minute 40 left in the ball game. 2nd and 10, Toronto at the Hamilton 29. Holloway was going for Greer. There is contact made by Leroy Paul, and I think we're going to have an interference call. But it may be against the Argos. Let's wait and see.
Tough call at this point in the ball game. We'll have to see how Ross Perrier sorts this whole thing out, but it appears it's against Terry Greer. And wait till you hear the fans' reaction to this one.
Offensive pass interference, number 10, Toronto.
Well, let's say this right now. The Argos haven't had too many breaks in this ball game.
No, they really haven't.
There was a touchdown call back by Darrell Wilson when it was a very early whistle. The ball definitely came through. Then there was that clipping penalty against Dave Newman that negated the touchdown by Terry Greer. But there's still a minute 33 left in the game. It is 2nd and 20, Argos, back at the Hamilton 39. They trail by 12 points. Holloway going for Newman. He makes the touchdown catch.
Tremendous play he made. Conrad Holloway cut the Hamilton Tiger Cats in a defense where John Priestner, the linebacker, had to cover Dave Newman. There was no way he could stay with him. Touchdown for Dave Newman.
That's the thing about the Argos, why they've captivated this town this year. They just won't quit. The point after by Andrew Sisson is good. And now it's Hamilton 30, Toronto 25, with a minute 25 left in the ball game. Conrad Holloway has been good on 26 of 45 passes for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, as you can see on your screen, the Argos trail by 5. They need a touchdown, but Dave Newman came up with a big play. I mentioned he was covered by John Priestner, a definite mismatch. Priestner was supposed to get help from the rookie safety in there, Mike McIntyre. McIntyre slow coming over. The results, Dave Newman picking up his touchdown reception. And he's hurting, you know, Pat. I watched him chasing that long pass down, and he was not running like the Dave Newman of old.
As a matter of fact, he's on the sidelines right now shaken up. All right, do you go for the short kickoff, or do you kick it deep? They still have their timeout remaining, and try to hold Toronto in there.
Geez, you put the pressure on me all the time to come up with these decisions, but I think you have to go for the onside kick. The way Tom Clements can throw that short pass, and he won't be opposed to doing it in this situation, I think you have to keep the ball away from the Ticat offense.
By the way, gentlemen, not only is Dave Newman hurting, but so is Conrad Holloway. He's having a real tough time getting his breath on the sidelines. He's back here at the bench, but says he will go in if they get that ball again.
Well, they kick deep to Keith Baker at his 3-yard line. And Baker is finally forced out at the 27-yard line with 1:17 left on the clock.
That's why I'm not coaching.
Have you made one right call this year?
I think I've made, over 1 for 8 now. But that man, Conrad Holloway, what a game he's had. He hung in there, 2nd and 20, found Newman deep. give him a lot of credit, a lot of fortitude by that man on your screen there, number 7, Condridge Holloway.
Ticats have only rushed for 37 yards tonight. Let's see what they elect to do. The clock will start on the snap of the ball. 1:17 left in the game. Clements is back in at quarterback. And here comes the rush. Clements fires just as Leaf predicted. And the catch is made by Rocky DiPietro at the 36-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, but he has about 9 yards.
Exactly the reason why I have to go with the short kick. I know Tom Clements. I know him very well. He knows he doesn't have a great running game, so why run the football 2 plays? Throw it to your inside receiver, Rocky DiPietro. He'll come up with a big play, and he did right there. 7 catches in the ball game tonight.
Well, I suspect he'll run the ball right now because we're down to 1:03. And a first down here would virtually snuff out any Argo chance. Clements carries himself. And we'll wait and see the placement of the ball. Ticat players indicating that it is a first down. All right, Tommy has thrown the ball 37 times tonight, 25 receptions, 294 yards, and 2 touchdowns. All right, the Ticats are short.
It's your turn. Now what do you do?
You got to punt the ball.
Well, they're not going to punt it.
Well, Alex Ponton, what would you do? Punt it away. I would have punted it away too. But that's why we're all enjoying this game here, watching it rather than playing it. Clements keeps it himself. And I don't know.
Boy, this is going to be close. Great surge by that defensive line of the Argonauts.
35 seconds left, incidentally.
Leon Lescavich and Fred Norgan, the 2 tackles, plug that up. We'll have to wait and see if they make it. It's going to be close.
I think they've got it. That's the ball game. Well, that's the Ticats' first down of this 4th quarter, believe it or not. But it couldn't have come at a more opportune time. Clock is running with 20 seconds left to play in the ball game. Tommy takes the pass from center, goes down with 15 seconds left to play. Hamilton 30, Toronto 25. Very entertaining ball game. Both teams played well. Ticats put it in the end zone when they got the opportunity. Argos put it in there a couple of times, and they were called back.
Well, you have to be impressed with both teams. We expected an offensive throw tonight. We got it, and regardless of the outcome, the fans here at Exhibition Stadium have been treated to a very well-played football game.
Argos have called their timeout. 15 seconds on the clock. Hamilton can kill it, of course. Tommy will just take the pass from center and drop down on one knee. And then on the 3rd down, he'll do likewise, and everybody will go home. Most of the 52,000 will not be happy, but the Hamilton Ticats sure will be. Be interesting to see if the people stay in the stands, too. The Toronto Police Department has told them anybody caught on the field will be subject to a $1,000 fine. Bill Stevenson, I'm sure, had something to do with that because he was almost mobbed to death last time we did a game here. Clemens takes it, drops to one knee, and now this will be the final play of the ball game because there's only 14 seconds left. The Hamilton Ticats have moved back to within 1 point of the Toronto Argonauts. They hand the Argos their 2nd loss of the season to the Ticats. The Argos have lost 3 now, and this is their 1st loss here at Exhibition Stadium. Time has expired. Tommy Clemens takes it, goes down on one knee, and the ball game is over. The Hamilton Ticats have defeated the Toronto Argonauts 30-25.